friends, how are you today? I've been going through my art supplies. I have an art cart, and I'll show you my art cart. Whoa! It's full of all sorts of supplies for painting and drawing and making lots of cool stuff. And one of the things I have on my art cart is buttons. I love buttons. I love making art with buttons, all different types of art, because the cool thing about buttons is you can glue them, you can string them, you can have an adult, a grown-up, help you sew them. You can stack them. You can pretend like they're coins. I have all sorts of cool buttons. So I have, let's see, I have star buttons. Ooh. I have birthday buttons. I have a whole case full of cool buttons. I think they're so fun because you can do all sorts of fun things with them. Oh, you can drop them. And if you have buttons at home, I wonder what you like to do with them. So I was looking at my buttons, and then I remembered, hey, I have a story that's kind of about a button. And I bet a lot of you have read this before. Do you know this story? This is Corduroy by Don Freeman. This is a classic. We talked about that word when we read The Very Hungry Caterpillar. A classic is a book that almost every kid has read, almost every grown-up has read. If you go into a preschool classroom, you're going to find the book. If you go to anyone's house, they probably have a copy of the book. This is a classic. Everyone knows Corduroy, right? And if you don't, you're about to. This copy I bought used. So this belonged to somebody else named Carrie. And now it's mine. And Carrie decided to write his or her name right on the cover. And, you know, we shouldn't write in books, but it's okay. I don't mind. But Corduroy by Don Freeman, previously owned by Carrie. And I thought we should read it. Why not, right? Oh, and at the end, I have a special surprise. But let's save that. Okay, here we go. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. And there he is waiting with the giraffe and the doll and the rabbit and the clown. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. See? The store is very busy. Then one morning, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost the button to one of his shoulder straps." Uh-oh, he's missing a button on his overalls. Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight I'll go and see if I can find it." That's how Corduroy talks. Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. And there he is searching all around. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped onto an escalator, and up he went. "Could this be a mountain?" he wondered. "I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain." Is he on a mountain? No, he's on the escalator, but he's never been on an escalator, so he doesn't know that that's what it is. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there before his eyes was a most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of beds. "This must be a palace," Corduroy gasped. "I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace." What's a palace? A palace is a big castle or a big house with lots of fancy things in it. So he thinks he's in a palace. Is he in a palace? No, he's still in the store. He wandered around admiring the furniture. "This must be a bed," he said. "I've always wanted to sleep in a bed." And up he crawled onto a large, thick mattress. He got that one right. All at once, he saw something small and round. "Why, here's my button," he cried, and he tried to pick it up. But like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. So they don't do it so much anymore, but they used to make mattresses with little buttons tied on them. And he thinks it's his lost button. And he's going to try to pull it off, but it's sewn on. He yanked and pulled with both paws until pop! Oh! Off came the button. Whoop! And off the mattress Corduroy toppled. Bang! Into a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash. Ooh, that's loud and scary. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going his rounds on the floor above. What's a watchman? That's like a security guard. That's someone who watches the store at night, makes sure everything's safe. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. Now, who in the world did that? He exclaimed. Somebody must be hiding around here. Where is he? He flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all. And there he saw 2 fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. Hello, he said. How did you get upstairs? Oh, he found Corduroy. The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator and set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Now it looks like Corduroy went to sleep. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning. And there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the same little girl he'd seen only the day before. I'm Lisa, she said, and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night I counted what I've saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home. Do you have a piggy bank? Do you have somewhere where you save coins? Save up a little money so you can get something special? Shall I put him in a box for you? The saleslady asked. Oh, no thank you, Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs into her family's apartment and straight to her own room. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like that enormous palace in the department store. This must be a home, he said. I know I've always wanted a home. Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. I like you the way you are, she said, but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened. You must be a friend, said Corduroy. I've always wanted a friend. Me too, said Lisa, and gave him a big hug. The end. And Hildy is making noise right as we're finishing the book. Good timing! The end. So, what happened in that story? Corduroy, Lisa wanted to take Corduroy home, but her mom said no. And sometimes moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas have to say no when we want something at the store. We can't always get what we want, right? But she realized, oh, I have enough money in my piggy bank. Meanwhile, Corduroy realized, oh, I'm missing a button. Where is it? And he went and he looked, and he thought he found his button on the mattress, but it wasn't, right? And then the watchman found him. And the next morning, Lisa came and brought him home. And he'd always wanted a friend, and now he has one, and it's so nice. All because of a little button. I love that story. I love that story so much that, surprise, I was Corduroy for Halloween one year. And here is the proof. That was me as Corduroy on Halloween. And it was super fun. And I never did find my button. I hope you guys have an awesome day. If you have buttons around, maybe you could make something fun and send me a picture. I'd love to see what you're doing. Otherwise, make something else out of something cool, right? Yeah. Okay, have an awesome day, friends. Bye.